Hi everyone, it's Ophelia, and today this video is going to be a bit different from my normal content, and it's for a very specific audience. So if you're not a 5 Seconds of Summer fan, then this video isn't for you and there's no point of watching really. I saw on Twitter there was a lot of questions about 5 Seconds of Summer soundcheck experience, so I thought that I would film a video kind of explaining how it is and what to expect, and so you can decide if you want to go or like how to feel, because the first time I went I was so stressed. I was 16 and I was like, I don't know what to expect, I don't know how it's going to be, I don't know where to go or anything, and obviously it's different for different venues, but I've been twice and it's been quite a similar experience. So I thought that I would like share with you what I've like learned and seen when I've gone, so that you can see how it is. If you're interested in that, if you want to go to a soundcheck experience, if your experience was very different, then let me know down in the comments. But I hope this video is useful to at least one person, because I watched a bunch of these when I first went, and yeah, I thought I'd just let you know, considering there's still a lot of dates even for this tour. So if you want to go, then at least you'll know what to expect. First of all, so I know that this is very different from city to city because I've spoken to different people, and lining up for the show is very different. For example, I got to the London show to line up at 10 a.m. and I was number 110 in line. So there was people camping from the night before, not even the night before. Apparently people got there at 3 p.m. the day before. So I didn't know that. I was like, because I read in Dublin that the first person got there at like 7 a.m. So I was like, oh, like, surely it'll be fine. No, I was 110 in the line. So you kind of all sit down, whatever. You're like, once you get, usually you have someone that writes down the number on your hand, and then like you can leave the line to get food or whatever, and you won't lose your place in line. Also, it's good to like talk to the people in front of you and behind you, just because then it'll be so much easier. Like the girls, I made friends with the girls in line, and they were kind of like, anytime I'd come back or anything, like they'd make it clear that I was there in line and I wasn't just like pushing in or anything. So it's good to like make friends with the people around you. The second thing is, so there was a part where they made us like move up, and these girls behind us, even though we had numbers, like pushed in front, like 30 people pushed in front of us. We had people that were really well organized. The people at the front of our line were very well organized, and they made sure everyone went back into their order way before soundcheck was getting let in. So that was nice. But I've heard negative things where the numbering system just wasn't getting followed and people just didn't care and were pushing in. So honestly, if you have good leadership skills, try and get to the front of the line, like get there early, and then organize everyone, because it honestly makes everyone's experience so much nicer and everyone stays so calm and it's just so much better. So I was 110 and I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty good. And then, so at soundcheck, usually there's like, I don't want to like quote this, but like 200 or 300 people. The first time I went to London soundcheck, it was like 200 people. It was like a few rows of seated seats in the O2, and it was amazing. Like you were so close no matter where you were, and it was really well organized and everything, and it was really good. At this London show, apparently the venue sold over 1,000 tickets for soundcheck, which honestly was insane, because like, although I was in a good space, there was so many people behind us, and we were like, oh, surely this is just people queuing for general admission. No, the venue literally sold over 1,000 tickets for soundcheck, which was just insane. Anyway, I'll get onto that after. So at 2 p.m. they start letting you in. They were a bit late. I think they started at like 2:30. So they started scanning everyone's tickets in. You go in through like the normal way you'd go in with a standard ticket, and then you get to a table and you pick up your VIP pack, I guess they'd call it. So for the tour that's going on right now, this is what you would get. So you get a VIP lanyard with a black thing to go around. I know now they're selling lanyards that are like got Take My Hand on them, and they're like, I think they're 10 or 15 pounds. You can also get them, but this is just the standard one that comes with the VIP thing. Then you get 2 pins. I put one of the pins on my tag for the concert, and I think it fell off because I got home and it wasn't there anymore, but this is one of them, and I'm sure you've seen the other one. It's like Take My Hand, I think it says on the other one. And then you get a bunch of postcards with them on it, you know, just a bit of photos so you can put on your wall. And then you get this like Take Me Hand bag. From what I remember, I don't know because I was 16 and now I'm 21. I think at the last one you just got a lanyard, I want to say. I don't remember. I don't have anything else from that show. So I don't know if people got other stuff or maybe I got other stuff, but I just don't remember that part. But the check-in was exactly the same at the O2 as it was in Wembley. You went in, you got the pass, you got a standing wristband and then a soundcheck wristband. And you obviously don't take those off because then you won't be let into either. So once you go in through checkout, you line up in that same order, like outside in the venue, but outside the arena. And then you just like form this line and you just sign up. The only negative thing that I've had at both sound checks is that they make 2 lines for seated and standing sound check. So let's say I got there at 10 a.m. and I'm in standing sound check, but someone could have gotten there at like 2 in the afternoon seated and they could be in front of me because they're in the standing sound check. So when they started letting people in, they started letting in the standing and the seating sound check at the same time. So seated people got there way later and they were getting let in before us who were there for like hours before, which I found really unfair because by the time we got inside, the line was much longer than 110 people in front of me. Later on, when seated people like left, I was way closer. Like I was like 7 rows closer to the front than I was with just like with standing and seated for sound check. So I don't think that's fair. I don't understand why there's 2 lines for sound check when afterwards we have to leave to go back in anyway. Like I just don't really see how that was fair. But anyway, it's cool. Like at the end of the day, I got to be close at the concert and it's just sound check. But I do think that's unfair for the people that waited hours to then be behind people, because I heard a lot of people complaining that they were annoyed that they were behind people that got there way later just because there was a separate queue for seated. But anyway, so you get in and you're in the line inside the venue, and at this point you can go buy merch, which is like downstairs, or you can just stay in the sign. There's a toilet, at least at the venue I was at, and you kind of just wait around again. You kind of sit down because I think it's like 2 hours once you're inside the venue again to wait to get inside the venue. So we all just kind of sat down and just kind of waited. The most annoying thing was that I had a cold during this whole experience. So I was honestly quite sick, quite tired, and I wasn't like COVID sick or anything. I was tested and I was negative. It was just like a bit of a cold that I had from going to the other 5Sos shows a few days before that they did like the small venues, and I just got a bit of a cold from someone. Anyway, so we're all sitting around, whatever, and then they're like, okay, you can go in the venue now. So we start going in and I'm like 7th or 8th row. The reason I'm saying this is because when I went to soundcheck in London in 2017 or 16, they did the same thing, and I had seated tickets then, and I got into the venue earlier than girls that I saw like before me, and I just thought that was quite unfair because I ended up being front row for soundcheck at the O2 because at this concert I was like row, I want to say 7, and there wasn't seated at this one, everyone was standing. So we're all standing around, people aren't like pushing or anything, which was quite nice. It was quite chill and everything. And once we got in there, it wasn't a long wait anymore. I think it was like half an hour before the band came on, and like the lights stay on and everything, and the band comes in. So when I last went to soundcheck, it was only like 3 or 4 rows of seated tickets. It was like 200 people, and it was very like intimate, quiet. At this show, there was 1,000 people in the soundcheck standing, meaning that almost half of the standing was soundcheck. Like it was crazy. The band came on and they were like, what is this? Like this seems like a mini festival or something. Like even they weren't expecting it. So it obviously wasn't them that oversold the ticket, it was the venue. But even they were like shocked that there was that many of us, and I was shocked because at every like soundcheck experience I've been to, it's just never been that insane. But I did get told after that the venue, like you could go on your ticket, and like after in the last few weeks it said that you could update your ticket to soundcheck. Like everyone could just update their ticket to soundcheck, which obviously kind of crazy, but it was still really nice. But like people that were way behind, like they weren't going to get the real experience of Soundcheck because every other country hasn't sold that many tickets. So anyway, so they come on, the lights are on, unlike in the show where they turn them off and everything, and they go and sing the first song, which was, I honestly don't remember. It was something they sing in the show. It was one of the songs, because I know a lot of places are really cool because they get to hear a song that doesn't get played in the show, but the songs we heard were played in the show. So when I went last time, I think they played 4 songs. This time they only played 2. So they play one song and then they come over and sit down. So they sit down like on the edge of the stage, and then there's like a bit of a gap, a gate, and then you're standing there and they're sat there. It's very close. Like you're like, it feels really cool. Anyway, so you're sitting really close to them. It's really cool. It's really quiet. Everyone, like the lights are on and you can see them really well compared to like in the concert when the lights are off and stuff. Like it's much darker and everything. This is just like assembly, you know, imagine an escort assembly. That's kind of what it feels like, but they're like sat down and they wear like different clothes than they wear during the concert, and it's usually like comfy stuff, and everyone was like making fun of Michael for wearing like jean shorts. Callum was wearing a hat, so you couldn't really see his face properly, which was disappointing because I'm a Callum girl. So so they sat down and you submit questions before. You get a link sent to you and you submit a question on the link, like, and you have to do it at least 2 days before the show. And when you're going in, they tell you whether your question has been picked. Only about 5 people got picked for questions, which was honestly quite disappointing. I didn't get picked. I didn't get picked the first time I went either, and I was quite disappointed, a bit sad. I didn't know the first time I went that they choose questions like prior to, and I never submitted a question, so. But anyway, and we were surprised by how like short it was. Even 5Sos were like, could we please like ask a few questions, because we didn't expect there to be that many of you and the questions have been short. So we're like, yeah, of course. And then afterwards they got up, they were like, we're gonna sing one more song for you if that's okay, and thanks so much for coming, blah 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 blah. They kind of, it's really cool, like you make eye contact with them and you know you're living a Wattpad dream, honestly. At least that's how I felt, especially when I was 16 and it was a bit more better organized. So they sing one more song and then they kind of linger on the stage. They're like, oh, okay, bye, like, see you guys, like, hope you enjoy the show, blah, 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 blah. And it's really cool. It doesn't last very long. It lasts between half an hour to 45 minutes. It definitely was longer when I went in 2016 than it was now. It felt slightly rushed, but I mean, I was still really grateful that I got to go. I thought it was really cool and exciting and everything. They make you leave after that, and they're like, okay, please don't run, like, leave. So we go outside. Seated people were expected to go through the other door and then out the venue and queue up again, because obviously they've got seats. They don't have to line up. We go outside and there starts to be an argument being like, we have numbers, like we should be allowed to go in with the numbers we have on our hands, like, because otherwise it's not fair and everything. And so the woman there was lovely and she put us back into number order, which was amazing, although it wasn't great because a lot of people didn't have numbers that were like way behind but then weren't at the very back. And then there was some people that tried to wipe off their number and put another number on their hand, and then obviously that was unfair because, anyway, don't be that person, because there's people that are lining up for hours and all you had to do is get there earlier and line up as well. Anyway, I'm not a bitter person, but when I'm somewhere and it was freezing and I was tired and sick, I was like, no. So she starts calling, she goes 1 to 20, then 21 to 40, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so by this point, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be way closer than I was in Soundcheck, because more than half of the people that were in front of me were seated tickets. So I was getting excited. I was like, this is amazing. This is great. Like, it's going to be so much better. And then you wait again. So I can't remember how long it is, but I think it's like another hour and a half. They even like would make jokes. So a guy would come around scanning tickets and everyone would get up thinking we're going in. And he'd be like, sit back down, guys. Sit back down, guys. Like, it was quite funny. Anyway, so you end up going into the venue and they're like, don't run, don't run. Obviously, everyone runs because everyone wants to be as close as possible. I was like second, third row. It was kind of weird because the girl was like not standing in front of me, but almost standing in front of me. So I was like in between second and third. Anyway, it was amazing. Funny story. I hope she doesn't see this. The time I went to the show in 2018 for normal like tickets, 2 of the shows, I remember seeing her at the front row, and then I saw her again but all the 3 shows I went to this year, I saw her again, and I found it weird that I recognized her even though I never spoke to her. But she was like at the front. Also, she has amazing hair, and very jealous. It's like red and amazing, and I wish my hair looked like that. Anyway, we go inside and the waiting starts again. So they let us in, and then slowly they start letting the other standing people in. And there was people on Twitter the day before asking whether it was possible to get barrier with general admission. Considering how many soundcheck tickets they sold, I think they were very shocked when they got inside and saw that already half of the standing was taken. Especially because people were queuing up for general admission when I got there at 10 a.m. already. So not great, probably. We go in and I was so tired. There was so much standing. My legs were hurting. I was just tired and just not feeling it anymore. I mean, obviously I was really excited for the show, and like when the boys came out and everything, I was like feeling great. But after and before, I was exhausted and tired, and it was a lot of standing around. Be prepared, wear comfortable shoes. I once saw someone wear heels and they were like so tired and in pain the whole time. So me and my friends decided to sit down like on the pit. Like a lot of places it's not possible. I went to see Louis Tomlinson a week ago. It was so squished, I could not move. I'm not surprised. Like there was like 8 people fainting. He stopped the show, he left the stage. Like it was crazy because people were so tight together. I was standing like this. A girl next to me was like, oh my god, like let me try and move over so you have more space. No, like there was no space. I was so squished, and I was like a third into the standing pit. When I went to 5Sos, it was much nicer. Like literally sat down on the floor, was just chilling, having a nice time, sat on my phone. Bring a portable charger. I cannot stress this enough. You are going to be sat on your phone because you are going to be so bored. Bring a book, bring, I don't know, an iPod, like the thing that you listen to music on, an iPad, whatever. Anyway, bring something because you are going to be so bored, and also you're not going to have enough charge if you're there standing for hours, because even after sound check, it's still hours to go before the supporting act even comes on. So be prepared. I brought a portable charger and I almost used the whole thing during the day. So we kind of just sat around. Everyone was really nice, at least in the front. Everyone was like asking each other if they're okay, passing the water down and everything. And everyone was kind of taking care of each other and everything. So that was quite lovely. That was quite nice. Being at the front is quite nice because if you're like thirsty and stuff, the water is more likely to get to you. When I was at the Louis concert, the water barely ever got to the middle or even the third of the pit. So just saying. And you're not allowed to bring drinks into the venue. We were just standing around, sitting around, and then they started playing the 5Sos videos on the screen, and they were pretty cool, I guess. It was the ones from the 10-year anniversary, the like funny ones. Anyway, I guess that was kind of nice entertainment. Music is playing and everything. And eventually, after like 7, it probably wasn't even 7, it was really late, the first band came on, and for England it was Coin, and they were really cool. I really enjoyed their music. I love seeing support bands because I think it's so cool how they're getting this like experience, especially because 5Sos obviously were a supporting band for One Direction. So I think that was quite cool. You know, it's always cool to see the supporting bands because who knows, like they could be like the next 5 Seconds of Summer or anything, like a band you like. So I think it's always really cool. Anyway, after that, they finish. I think they do like a 45 minute set, a few songs, whatever. They have a little chat, say thank you, and then they're like, are you excited for 5 Seconds of Summer? And it's like, what? Everyone's obviously cheering and everything. Honestly, if you go, please be nice to the supporting act. I always feel so bad because apparently in some countries, people just don't really cheer for the support act or anything. And like, remember, they're like a bit stressed because obviously it's not a show for them and people don't really know them. Like, you don't have to know the songs, but at least like cheer and smile and be nice about it. Don't like, you know, ignore them. Then there's more waiting. It's like over an hour before 5Sos come on, and again I was sat down. 5Sos are always late, so we were all getting so bored and tired by this point. And eventually the lights come down, the set starts. Obviously it's amazing, and I have to get this out here because I'm still a bit sad about this. So I brought a sign that asking for, can I have a guitar pick? Not a guitar pick. I brought a sign asking whether I could get a bass pick from Callum, and I was like, it's gonna happen. I'm like second row, like this is usually where it happens, and I was so excited. I was like, I brought a sign, I was prepped, I was like stretching my arms, ready to catch one. And halfway through the show, this girl pushed in, and she was standing where I was standing, and she caught a pick. She caught a guitar pick, and I think you know why I could be slightly annoyed, because I was originally standing there, meaning that if I was still standing there, I would have caught it, probably, you know. I'm all about everything happens for a reason, but I'm still a bit sad to this day, and I really wanted that pick. I know it's not important, but I just really wanted one. I've loved 5Sos for like 8 or 9 years, and that would have been really cool. But next show, I'm gonna stretch my arms and be ready for the next show. The show ends, they go off stage, obviously you get really sad. I think that's mostly it. You can try and stay at the end to get like the set list and stuff. Like sometimes the security guards and stuff hand those out, so if that's something you want, you can try. I mean, people fight over them, it's kind of crazy. People are like wailing their arms around, you know, trying to get it. It's cool. Then you obviously go outside, and yeah, that's kind of it. And then, you know, you be sad for the next few days. And personally, I think Soundcheck experience is worth it. Really, why I bought it both times. Soundcheck is good if you want to get really close to the front, because that's usually the best way to do it. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments below. Stay safe, stay hydrated, take care of each other at these concerts. Remember to eat and stuff, and at least drink before the show, and try and pass the water further down in the crowd and everything, so that people are okay and you can enjoy the show. I hope you enjoy the show if you do end up going, and let me know what your favourite 5Sos song is down in the comments below. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Bye!